communicate it to your audience. It's about creating trust. You have to be rooted in society. It means delivering on promises. You have to be coherent. That's what brands are. And everything is connected to each other. Branding is about coherence, consistency, and distinction. Because if you're just coherent and consistent, that's not enough. You also have to distinct yourselves. Because you can buy everything anywhere, or anywhere, anything everywhere. But why do they buy it at your store or at your store? It's, you know, if orange T-shirts are trendy, everyone will have orange T-shirts. But why do they buy it in your place and not in your neighborhood? In retail, it means to complement the known, the exciting of the new. So this is a thought. This is a thought of that as a brand you want to be known for who you are. That's the one side. You want to give trust. On the other side, you want to surprise people. You want to get them excited every now and then. And obviously, in fashion, for instance, in the balance is more in excitement than in comfort. But for instance, for a supermarket, you want to know where everything is. You don't want to milk one day here and the other day in the other end of the store. So you have to be trustworthy and comfortable. So it's every concept has a certain balance in what is the comfort of the known and the excitement of the new. I'm going through it quickly because we have a lot to do this after. And then the difference between branding, product branding, and retail branding is that retail branding creates a brand preference which goes beyond the product or a service. First you choose the store, and then you decide whether you buy a brand which is in the store or the house brand. The house brand, especially in food, you decide later on. You're connected to the retailer, not to the product they sell so much. And the effect of retail branding is that the whole world opens when you see, experience, or even think of it. This was a piece of art in Venice a few years ago, but when you see these yellow arches, you know what it stands for. And when you see the street in Hong Kong where I don't know any shop, you see the yellow and the world opens. You know how long it will take to get your hamburger, you know what it will cost, you know what it will look like, and you will already know the feeling of guilt before you eat. So this is about you know just seeing the yellow and the whole world opens, and this is what design does. Maybe 20-25 years ago, at least in Western society, we were people of the word. We listened to words, we read, but now in these 20-25 years, we're people of visual identity. We're very visually. We see a sign and we understand the whole world. We're not patient enough to read. We just want to see things, and design comes very handy there. It's not only about science, because if you see these two shops next to each other, these two hamburger outfits, they look a lot alike. So there's a bit of what you see and what you don't see. There's always a bit of the rational and the emotional. It's always a combination of what you see and what you do not see, and that's very important. You cannot translate everything that's in the soul of a brand into the visual identity, but it has to be implemented within the whole organization. Everyone has to know who is in the organization, what it stands for. Retail communication is a one-on-one relationship. Now I'll go a little bit because this workshop this afternoon is meant to be about visual merchandising, and I will have a very fast, small talk about in-store communication. So that's about words and science. There are 4 views on the consumer. I'll go through it quickly. Maybe you can have the sheets afterwards. There are four different consumers. The rational one. Well, I think people rationalize everything afterwards. They say, you know, I always buy my flowers there because they have the best flowers. They don't know anything about flowers, I think, but it's a combination of rationalizing afterwards, after you bought, to say that you know about it. But if you know a lot about flowers, you might not know everything about cars, but you also buy a car. So there's a lot of rationalism. Passive consumer, he can be manipulated. I think, you know, maybe it's the older consumer, maybe it's the younger one, but at least, you know, we get more savvy every day, I think. The cognitive consumer, it's too difficult a word for a Dutch guy. It's about processing the information, reading, and then deciding. And the emotional consumer, I think we all are emotional consumers. In the end, you know, we are affectionate to value to things. It's about creating a top-of-mind position, and it's about that's what it's all about in retail brand. You have to, it's a split-second decision. Here you see 3 Dutch supermarkets. Inside they all have the same product, more or less, but you love one better than the other, and you go there. You want to be seen there. It's also about the peer group who comes into the store, and you think you belong to the brand because you like all the other people who belong to the brand. Branding, in that sense, underpins your status, your personality. What is instant communication? Well, it's all communication within the store that's linked to increasing turnover. That's the simple, short version, where you see it's about selling, it's about piling up and putting a price to it. There's a lot to say about that. There's also an extensive version, which, you know, there's more to it than just selling. You know, it's about transferring a unique formula identity, the retail brand. And but it's also to improve the conversion rate, to sell more and more. And in the end, it's about fulfillment. If you have fulfillment for your customer, they will come back. There's retention, which is the most important thing. Well, here you see some examples. I will flick through them quickly. It's about talking about your brand. This is Marks and Spencer talking about the way they think about sustainability. And you're waiting in line for the cash desk anyway, so why not read something about the way they think and feel that they have to behave within our changing world. Here you see Target in New York, Target they call it, where they say we give over 2 million a week to education, so they support schools and children. Well, this is very different. Everyone has his own. This is Desiccolo. It's a Spanish fashion chain, which is a very different approach. They sell their clothes as if it is produce, fresh produce. They sell it as I don't know if you know the store. Well, we are a fan of the extensive version because there's so many channels and ways of communicating, and everything which you do in or around the store helps to sell and helps to connect your customer to your brand. This is another example. I don't know if you know that this is Abercrombie and Fitch, where you see the guy. You can be any picture of the guy if you want, but only if you're a woman. Sephora. I'll flick through it. It's just images. You all see kind of images of how to sell produce, how to sell shoes. Here you see at the Nike store, which you can also sell shoes as Camper does, just on Velcro. You tear it off the wall. And here you see this is Comme des Garçons in Japan. And they're just sneakers, but when you present them like this, in this situation, you see the price rising. You can ask 10 times as much as you have for a pair of All-Stars. I don't know if you know they come from the same factory, I guess, but at least you think it's worth it. It's a fair trade, as we say. Yeah, it's connected to instant communication. Obviously, it's connected to the retail formula. I don't know if you have Lush here, so they sell soap also as if it is fresh produce. Apple is one of the famous examples. They really changed retail thinking of how to communicate and let everyone play with all the machines and enjoy the brand without selling, without hard selling. They will explain you everything about an iPad or an iBook, but they will never ask, do you want one? they say the product speaks for itself, which is quite clever. And even if